Hey everyone, this is Jackie Tomlin, and welcome to When Spirit Speaks podcast. And I have a special guest with me today. We have psychic Shanda Tompkins. She is out of Montana. How are you, Shanda?
Doing well, thank you.
She is a psychic as well as a paranormal investigator like myself. She's been doing this for over 20 years. She's what my daughter describes as a frylet. Do y'all know what that is? It is a client that become a friend and makes it a frylet.
Nice.
So, but yeah, today we are doing kind of a love special per se. Okay, it's February, Valentine's Day, all of that, and we're going to talk today about love. Now, love in general, I think Shanda can tell you when people come to you for readings. What's the number one category, Shanda?
It's wanting to know when they're going to meet the right guy or the right person all the time.
All the time. It is the number one
Mhm.
category. It is the most powerful emotion we carry as humans. So, I mean, stands to reason. But what I want to talk about today is a little bit different. How does that work for me and you?
Well, basically, just that intuitive knowing certain things. A lot of times I get a vision of the person they're supposed to be with if I'm dating someone,
Right. And that's
which
what I'm
means
talking
it's
about.
not
I
me.
mean, for us, whether we are dating someone or whether we are in a friendship or whatever, it's hard for us. It's hard
Very
to
hard.
be around for someone and not pick up on certain things. And how often have you been asked, can you turn that psychic ability on or off?
Oh, I get that all the time, and yeah, I do turn it off when I have to, but you don't have control over what you need to know.
Right, right, right. So, like, if you're dating someone and they're not being honest with you, do you know this?
Absolutely. I get visions because I'm also within my chart and horoscope too. I'm tied into the eighth house heavily. So I see the secrets and stuff. I would be a very good detective.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. She would actually
Mhm,
be a good psychic detective, as most of them would. And she's actually
mhm.
done some detective work. Now, let me ask you this. Okay, so let's move to friendships. Okay,
Mhm.
let's say
Yeah.
you and I have a reservation at 8 o'clock tomorrow, and you know I'm not going to be there. Is that possible?
I get that feeling. Yeah, I get the feeling that it's not going to happen. So I might message that person and see, what's going on,
Right.
and then they'll back out of it because I don't want to just show up and nobody's there.
Right, right. And I'm not gonna sit there and put it out there that we're always right,
Hmm.
but kind of we're always right. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I get
when
that.
it comes to those certain things that we know, it's that gift of knowing, it's the intuitiveness, and it's the clairvoyance of being able to see what's going to happen.
Right. Yes, and then that's just it's kind of like it lays out to me almost in snapshots and how I see things.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Same way with that. Like, do you get snapshots of like calendars or clocks or for timing?
No, no, more of it's almost like a little movie. So I get just a little, little
Little snippet.
couple second, yeah, little snippets of things. It was almost like with the game last night. I had kept seeing the people in more of the white uniform winning, and I saw the arms, but it was like a real quick shot of the confetti and the white.
Yeah, guys, we were texting last night. We're both in agreement. Chiefs have got this. This was before the game started. She's like, I
Yep.
see confetti. And I said, I see the number 9. And I couldn't correlate with number 9. And then old Juju bought it second half. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, here we go. Number 9.
There we go. Yep.
So
So that's
it
just
was a
how I
lot of
get it.
fun. Yeah, my daughter will tell you, and I'm not sure how your husband feels about this, but my daughter will tell you watching television with me is the worst.
Oh yeah.
It's the absolute worst because I can tell you what
Been
the
there,
end's
done
gonna
that.
be.
Been there, done that.
I know what's gonna
Why?
happen. I know what's gonna
Yeah, it's
happen.
like, yeah, I know everything with the movie. It's like, did I see this? And there's no possible way. Or I'll go to a movie and then I already know how it all goes. It's actually aggravating because it's like, I know what's going to happen now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And she always says that watching television with me is the worst. What is she? Spoiler alert, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Just shut your
Yep.
mouth. Just keep your mouth
Yep.
shut. But when you know,
Yep.
you know. I mean, you might as well say it. So
Yeah.
but
It's hard not to.
I do it now just to torment. So, I mean, it's kind of fun. But I've got some clients across the board, okay?
Yeah.
That you know, when I do a reading and divine timing hops in, okay?
Yeah.
The time, the place, things have to line up and fall into place for divine timing to occur. And they get most aggravated. Okay? Well, you know, when divine timing happens, it boom, it's out the blue. It just happens. Now, for Shanda and I want to speak about divine intervention.
Correct.
Do you believe that as a psychic, we have more divine intervention than anyone else out there?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
spirit has stepped in and said, mm-mm, you
Yeah.
may want this, but this is not your path.
Right.
And you're redirected. So are we getting more divine intervention?
I feel like that's happening. It's like I have the 1, 2, 3 rule. You know, if it's not gelling, just move on. So that's the intervention from spirit.
Right.
So it's like quit working at something that's just not going to happen. So, but yeah, no, it's actually been picking up speed now. And the veil for me has gotten exceptionally thin, and I'm really picking up on a lot of stuff.
Right.
A
Right.
lot more.
And do you feel that we're redirected as psychics more than the average Joe? Or are we just receptive to it?
I think we're being redirected. I mean, it's like it's jumped up, you know, the energy vibrations jumped up a lot more. So we're basically here to be in the light to help other people get through it, get through their anxieties.
Yeah, and that brings me to another point. I mean, as part of the psychics and the realm, and we're working with energy, okay? And you and I both are into Reiki and the healing stuff and stuff like that. Do you feel that we are drawn to fix people?
Yes, absolutely. Or the people that need to be fixed are drawn to us. We're in a
Yes,
light that I'll be sitting there minding my own business somewhere or doing certain things. And next thing I know, I have somebody that really needs help and I'm able to talk to them. I don't tell people that I'm psychic. It just kind of comes out like oh, how do you know that? You know, and stuff like that. But rather than scare them, if I know that they're open to it, I'll do it. But yeah, I can just be minding my own business. And next thing I know, I have a problem child next to me. I don't have a problem doing that. That is our destiny and what God placed us here to do.
Now, let me ask you this. How has that affected you in the matters of love? As there's broken people.
Well, yeah, you can't go into the deep end too often. You have to also understand there's certain things that, you know, you can't let consume you or it will consume your relationship too. So you have to balance that out. And it's very tough to do. And a person that comes into your life has to back up and understand what we're doing is for the greater good. And it takes a lot of patience on the person that's with us to understand. Now, the people that don't have patience, it didn't work out for them with me.
I have no patience. None.
Yeah.
Absolutely none. So yeah, I mean, I totally get it because I do feel it's challenging for us to decipher if this is the right one. We tend to, when reading for ourselves, ignore the red flags and we ignore the warnings. And yet we are drawn to the ones that are broken and the broken are drawn to us.
Right.
I think it is a little bit more difficult than most. And I think our clients need to know that we struggle with things just as much as they do in that aspect.
And at times even more so, just because of that inner knowing. But we can get skewed if we're too close to somebody.
Right. Right. That is true.
So a lot of times psychics draw psychics to each other so that
Yes.
we can help each other out. So we're a bunch
Right.
of sideline crutches helping each other out to get through it, which does help.
Exactly.
And they did a study too. People that believe in what we believe in actually have less anxiety because they're able to be talked down quickly.
That is very true. That is
Other
very.
people that don't believe in it have a higher anxiety because they're not talking to others to deal with their anxiety.
Well, I've been accused on more than one occasion, from friendships to family and on down the line, of just not caring about something. It's not that I don't care, it's just I manage my stress a little bit different
Hmm.
and will decide what deserves my energy and what does not deserve my energy. And when something that has got you high strung and stressed, and I decide I'm not putting any energy into this because we'll soon pass, they get furious with me. Absolutely furious.
Well, they don't understand that we have to disconnect from certain things because a lot of it is not our issue. It's theirs. And at some point, they have to figure it out
Right.
without us, and not, we can't always be the yes ma'am answering for everybody. And so yeah, I get constantly, even when I was doing my ghost tours, like I'll be in my realm, I'll be talking about something, and then I would take off. I would shut down, and they'd be like, what just happened? Well, it was because I had to leave the energy that's going on in order to protect myself so I don't get drained. Cranky
Absolutely.
cranky psychics are not fun to deal with.
Oh my God. That yes, yes. Sometimes when we say, no, I can't get you until 3 o'clock, it's maybe we needed to work an hour or so in between those readings,
Right.
just to fall down and regroup and kind of recenter. It's exactly what she's telling about. You don't want a cranky psychic. But what are you doing now? It's Montana Haunted History, right?
Yeah, Montana Haunted History, and I would put together groups of, we'd go and investigate, and a lot of the times they're actually, decent sized groups and stuff like that. But I would go to different buildings in Butte, Montana, and give people my psychic impressions. Or if they were trying to lock into ghost activity, I could take the people into the area and go right here, 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 where I could feel it, and then their machines would start picking up on things.
Right, right.
So that would just make
Validation.
the,
That's
yeah,
what you're looking for.
validation.
The scientific validation of that metaphysical, of what she's picking up.
Yes, and I had one situation that really kind of actually shook me. I saw some kind of a creature that looked snake dragon-like coming down the hallway, and I'm describing it, but I'm disconnected from the fear. They had a capture of it on a white screen. I'm not quite sure what they called it, and you could see the outline of the creature. It really did shake me, knowing, because I had just got done describing it, and they said, we have a capture of that.
Right.
I mean, to describe it is one thing, but to really see it and then validate yourself, you're like, we shouldn't be looking at stuff like this.
Exactly. Exactly. That you shouldn't be looking at stuff like that.
Yep.
I love the scientific realm of it, because it does give us some validity. And I don't think people, first of all, we don't second guess ourselves, because like I said, we've been doing this as a career for years and years and years. Okay. But it's always very exciting to us when we say something's over there, that
Right.
something else, a piece of equipment, could pick up a caption or something that we saw over there,
Right.
or there was
Right.
a temperature change or something. We get very excited about this because, like I said, we don't second guess ourselves, and it's not a you're right thing, but it's validation for us personally. You
Right.
know, we're just as human as everybody else. So many people think you have those special powers or that fairy dust that you can fix problems and all like that.
Well, we're not able to connect with each and every person too. I think it's a soul tribe of who we connect with.
Absolutely.
So sometimes when I'm doing readings, sometimes I just cannot connect with a certain person. Um, Once you get into that real good stage, you can connect with them. But I also notice if I connect with somebody that I'm romantically interested in, then that actually kind of skews it a little bit, because then they're always in the back of their head wondering what we know.
Right, right, right. And,
And then they don't allow themselves to be themselves around us.
exactly. Now, she brought up a terminology of soul tribe. Now, one of my largest audiences here on the show is my YouTube channel. And
Hmm.
they have the name of, they are the Soul Family Chatters over there. Okay.
Nice.
So YouTube, as of last week, has given me I can now bring on a person live into my YouTube for the first time.
Nice.
And we would love to have you over there in a couple of weeks, maybe bounce together with that soul tribe and, see we come up together. Would you like to do that?
Yes, that sounds like fun.
Yes. And it does. She did bring up another good point of like, going back to any relationship that we have, that when people find out you're psychic, you can almost see the wall go up on them. It's like it's
Right.
something that rises from the floor up. They're like, oh
Right.
my God, she's reading me. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, you can
And then
almost see it the moment they find out. And then you've got others that are very open to it. And they're like, oh my God, read me, read me. I mean, it's like their life is an open book. But for the most part, there's that little guarded and all like that. And I think we're both over the years have learned to be very respectful of that.
right.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's nice and stuff, but a lot of the times, like in romance, the people I've connected with and talked to, the more that I went into the psychic realm for them, it was more of a client reading for them. And then I noticed that the relationship would change after that, change to the point where I felt like they were more of a brother than they were a person that could be in my life.
right. Now,
So,
do you feel, that whole lessons and blessings that sometimes we have relationships that we just have to get through as part of our life lesson?
yeah, it's almost like karmic ties. It's like, to me, I just see kind of like a stair stepping. You keep climbing closer and closer and closer to maybe the right one, but you're doing your purpose and what you're supposed to do. And like you said, the minute we kind of change our mind and our focus and stuff is when you'll bring in the right person into your life. But that person also has to be on that fairly close level as us too, to be open to what we do.
That spirit, the spiritual level, they've got to be open
Yeah.
spiritually.
Yes.
Um, would you say it's safe to say that even from our clients to us, that usually when we say you're getting what you want, but what you want is not what you expected?
Exactly. Yeah. That people have to, a lot of times they marry their mind to what they think is ideal, and
Uh-huh.
they don't open up prospects to other kinds of people that could be better for them. They see
That
a
was well
certain
said.
thing and they're like, this is what I'm attracted to. It's like,
This is
what
my
have you
type.
found? Yeah,
This
my
is my
type. Oh,
type.
but
Oh, we
it's
got
like,
wait a minute. Do we have a fur buddy?
yeah, this is my Zeusy. He likes
Hello,
to join
darling.
in.
Oh, I mean, there's no better energy than a cat. I'm just sorry. It just
Yeah,
is. So
he,
it's
he he
appropriate.
loves to get up here while I'm doing readings and lay with me and knock stuff off as usual.
That is
It's,
awesome.
it's like,
But yeah,
stop, but
yeah, but people just they've got to have an understanding of how things work. Some things are fated. I mean, we have bad relationships just as well as anyone else, but some things are fated. Sometimes the purpose of a reading is knowing what is to come, but at
right,
the same time, maybe you can change it and maybe you can't.
right. So it's, a lot of times that we're counselors in many ways, basically getting people to kind of adjust how they think they should be doing it. A lot of it has to do with trying to control something that you don't have control over. And do you
Absolutely.
want to have control over another person? No, because you won't have that. You won't experience a beautiful life of standing next to each other. You can't be dragging around a soul that's like a child with you, trying to educate them all the time.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
a lot of
I know you are a busy lady, but can you tell us if they want a reading with you, how can we contact you?
Well, I do have a Facebook. It's under Shanda Tompkins, psychic. I have it in there somewhere, but I'll probably give that link to you so then you can share that with someone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they can get a hold of me through Facebook if they want to,
Okay.
through personal message, private messaging.
And yeah, we would love to have you on YouTube as well. So
Nice,
that
nice.
I think that's going to be fun as well. Yeah, I've got a great group of people over there. Um, so where are you at now? I mean, you are currently married, so you found your one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
would you say that it was a spiritual connection for the two of you from the bat? I know the answer to this because I've been along through this whole relationship, but I will let you tell it.
Yes. I mean, it's been good because we have a lot of things that are very much in common. But the nice
Uh-huh.
thing too is that we don't either. We have
Right,
different ways of viewing things. It took him a while to get used to what I do and to let me do what I do, and I let him do what he does. And just it's finding that comfortable side of knowing that you're going to come back together and that the union is solid.
right,
So, but it's not left without being irritated. But again, when we are in a relationship, they don't understand. We really can't read them. We're too close to the energy.
right, right.
And so that's where we need to, that's why when we talk to other psychics and stuff like that, we're able to get more grounded on our side because sometimes another person's energy can spin us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they're in your energy.
Yes.
It's almost like a blockage for you.
Yes, and then you feel like, you're just out of control because you're like, I'm not sure how to deal with this person, etc. I mean, we're getting it more figured out, but then every once in a while something will happen in another person's, your significant other's life, and you're not really quite understanding why they're being so quiet about it.
Right.
And it's very hard. They just don't understand it. It's like, once I'm involved with you, I'm not reading you, which allows them to be themselves. I explain that right off the bat so that they understand this is not something that I'm doing with you all the time.
Right. Right. Now on the flip side of the coin, do you have it ever run into the counter of where they expect you to know things? They expect you to read the situation?
Yeah, but they were pretty excited about the game yesterday.
I am
um,
sure. I am
they're
sure.
going to be running around collecting some income for that. And I'm like, hey, I helped with that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I
Calling
did
it.
that with my dad, and he made several $1,000s, and not one time did he kick it back. And I decided I would never help anybody again on a game if I wasn't going to have a little bit of backup on that. Come on.
Exactly.
I thought that was
Exactly.
rude. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, sometimes they do, but there's really not an expectancy because some days, I mean, I've got a lot going on in my life all the time. And so I'm so busy that it's like I'm not always in that energy. I can step into it anytime I want, but I choose not to a lot of
Right.
times.
Right.
I have to because I mean, if we're in that energy, you're exhausted all the time.
Right. And and I love the fact that we have different gifts and
Hmm.
I might see something differently than you do. Like yesterday, she literally texted me at the beginning of the game and she's
Hmm.
like, Chief's got this. And I'm like, I agree. She went on with the confetti, the
Hmm.
colors. I went on with the number 9. Hey, it was like we both had the same conclusion, but how we were getting there was totally different. But it all worked out. And it's the same thing. It's not what you expected. And if I tell you that this person is this, this, and this, you have built that image in your head of what that person is. Okay.
Right.
So
Hmm.
when that person appears and it's not the image in your head, you're totally confused when in fact that is the person that I gave to you. Is that not right?
Correct. Yep.
That's what I described.
Mhm.
I have a friend today that I spoke with that she's been going through something and we saw it working out and it worked out, but in a completely form or fashion that she was not expecting whatsoever.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's the whole gist of things is it's not that your psychic is wrong or that we didn't tell you. If you listen to what we told you, it's everything we told you. It's what you're building up here and this person or whatever. And look, we all have the ability to ignore the red flags. All of
Yes.
us, all of us, of seeing what you want to see. I mean, yes, two psychics sitting here have done it before. We have
Uh-huh.
ignored red flags, you know?
Right. Hmm.
So we need I guess the client community needs to be a little bit more open-minded when it comes to divine timing, when it comes to that person that we're talking about may not be what you have pictured.
No. And
whatsoever.
I've done that with people. I've seen people that they're coming into with them. And for example, real quick, I knew a lady that started dating a guy that looked like Mr. Clean. And I looked at her
Okay.
and I was like, yeah, that's not him. The man that you marry is about 4 inches taller than you and loves to ride his mountain bike. And I said, I see him clear as day with full head of hair, and he's your match. No,
Right.
she had really dedicated herself to this man that was big and very good looking and stuff. And I just shook my head and I said, mark my words, the one that will love you the way you deserve looks like this. Well, about 4 or 5 years go by, and then there's a picture of him on Facebook with her holding his mountain bike with brown hair. They've been married over 10 years now, and she has found the love of her life. I can see who you're supposed to be with. It's
Right.
just, are you going to be open to that?
Right, right. I have another friend that, the thing was with pregnancy, and I did see
Mm-hmm.
her with the child. It just
Yes.
was not in the time frame that she wanted to see this child. And when I told her of the time frame that child was coming, she was like, "Oh, no, no, no. This is not going to happen. That's way further down the road than I planned." Blah, blah, blah. Bottom line, it played out the exact way I told her it would. And I was the first call on that pregnancy to say, "Oh my God, you so told me this." And I'm like,
I
yeah,
had
yeah,
I had one like that too. We were doing multiple readings. I had another psychic with me, and she asked if she would have a child. And out of nowhere, Spirit tells me, you will have one of blood, but not of your own blood. And I says, I don't know what that means. And the sister looked at me and she said, I want her to adopt my grandchild.
wow.
And I said, there's your chance of raising a baby. And she says, it's the situation with her daughter, couldn't take care of the
Right.
child. And I said, there's your chance of having a child. As for you, you can't carry a child. You only get to the second month. And she goes,
Right.
yes. And I said, because you're lacking something in your body to be able to carry. And she goes, yes. And I said, so why keep doing that to yourself when you have a baby that you can
It needs
raise,
a family. Yeah.
that needs a family, that your sister will always know that you will take care of this child, and she's always in contact with her grandchild. But it kind of
Absolutely.
blew their mind. I don't know what the outcome was to that, but that was when they saw that it was the real deal. Like, this is
Yes.
happening.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and we love hearing y'all's feedback, by the way. So, that's something we don't get too often. So when you take the time to shoot us an email and tell me the right one has come in and it was what I described, or it wasn't what I described, or whatever, or it wasn't what you expected, I guess is what I was saying. We could do a whole show, Shanda, on clients and their expectations,
Right.
or psychic readings and your expectations, because they're a little bit different than how things actually play out. But
Oh,
those are they're waiting on the divine timing, because I do know this is the month of love. I am very much aware of this. I do know this is single awareness day approaches, but you know what? So does 50% off chocolate. Y'all find the positive side of things. I'm just saying. Yeah.
yeah. It's coming to a store
It's
near
coming.
you in
It's
2
coming
days.
to a store near you. That's right. Divine timing. That person is out there. I do believe that there is someone for everyone. I do.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes it's not what you imagined at all.
Yeah,
And
they don't come gift wrapped the way that you marry your mind to. You have to be open to a different sort of person, as what, just like what you bring to the table.
exactly, it's not build a bear. You can't sit around and build a man or build a woman.
No,
It's just it's coming, it's just you've got to
it's
be open-minded and do your thing. And I'll tell everybody, work on yourself, work on you. Because when it
yes,
comes to love, it is the most powerful emotion that we carry as human beings. But you need to understand that no one wants to love you unless you love you yourself.
correct. Yes,
So yeah,
and you get to the point in your life where you're very comfortable with being alone is when it comes into your life. And then you
Right,
wonder, do you have enough time to let that person in your life because you've gotten so used to um, being productive and realizing that you don't really need another person in your life. It would be nice. That's the icing, on the cake. But
right.
but I tell people it's like, when you get to that point where you start enjoying your peacefulness, it's like enjoy it right now because once you hit that point, somebody's coming in. And you'll miss a little bit of your time to
Oh
yourself.
my God. How many times have I told my clients to use this time wisely?
Right.
Go
Hmm.
clean the closets out, go clean the shit. You're going to be busy.
Yeah.
A relationship takes a lot of work because you're taking your life and your individuality and you're taking someone else's life, their individuality, and trying to meet in the middle. So there is a couple plus two individuals. It takes work.
Yes. And
It
that's the
takes
hard
work,
part for
and it's a
people.
constant thing. It's something that is constantly worked upon. It's not something that just
Yeah,
happens.
it doesn't, it's like as good as it gets is always in the beginning of the relationship. And if you have a lot of issues to start with during the beginning of the relationship, that's kind of your story. But if you can flow into it like friends and it's fun, and yes, you have a little bumps here and there, you found your person, which is nice.
Exactly.
So a lot
Exactly.
of people don't get that. They don't they get too wrapped up in the beginning of it and want that high elated love and have to understand love changes throughout the years into a beautiful friendship and trust.
Well, I mean, even though you're psychic and you finally found the one, okay,
Hmm.
do you say you have to work at it every day?
Every day. Every day.
Every single day. So just because you're psychic, you didn't wave your magic wand and there's the right one and life is just hunky dory.
Nope, because it was like a lot of toads coming around and it was like, okay. I finally just gave up because it was like basically too another things that people don't understand when you've been in bad relationships with very toxic people, you carry that toxicity with you for a while and you've got to cut those energy strands, and that's why we keep saying you've got to take some time for yourself to cleanse that because you will keep drawing the same type of person because you have not cleansed that
To
energy off of you.
you. I was speaking to a friend yesterday, and he said that he was dating a girl and everything was going well, and then he realized he was dating his ex-wife. He said when he sat back and looked at all the traits, and he's like, I've just traded off the same for a different person, and this has got to stop. And I'm
Yep.
like, well, at least he recognized it before it went, but so far, and I do have a lot of people, and I not just y'all, I'm gonna admit I am guilty of the same. I have done the repeat, and you realize this is the same person,
Yep.
just in a different body.
Yes.
So you've got to change too. In other words, it's not everybody else is going to change. You've got to change too. It's more than being open minded. It is about healing. And when we tell you take some time for yourself, or we tell you, that person or the one you're going to start dating comes in about 4 months. That's 4 months of working on yourself. That's not four
Right.
months of trying to force the issue.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, people and they get so wrapped up in it, and that's where they go wrong. That's where
Right.
they go wrong. They just want to be with somebody, and it's like be with somebody or be with the right one. If you're with the
Yes.
right one, I said that's when you're so busy with you.
Yep.
And we can all attest to this. We've talked to those people. You tell them the situation, you give them the formula, and they don't do anything with it. And they stay in the same circular pattern, just circling, 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 and getting nowhere. Unfortunately, for some of them, people, they miss their doors because they can't take the time to figure out how to deal with their personal anxiety of being alone.
Yes. Yes. That is true. That
And
is
I
true.
just feel like
There's
I'm
also
banging
that
my
whole
head.
I know it's a healing process, but sometimes you've got to take the time to cut the cord from the ex and
Hmm.
move on. And you can sit there and tell me till you're blue in the face that you have cut the cord. And if we can see that cord is still there, we're gonna let you know.
Yep,
We're
because
gonna
that's why they hold on to it. I mean, like I said, we've talked about a relative of mine that, I know that she's still very much tied to this person. And once things change, they could come back in and that beautiful little world that we've been working on is all going to get crushed, and we're back at square one again.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like I can sense it. It's just a tad irritating because when you look at people, and then that's where sometimes too I have to back up from people that just continuously repeat and repeat, and it's like, I am not your Prozac.
Exactly. Exactly.
I am not your Prozac. I'm giving you tools to help you with things. And, I've always had this even as a child. Like my mom always wondered how I knew what I knew. I don't know. I just know, I know things.
Right. Well, the gift of knowing, that is your intuition,
Mm-hmm.
and people got to tune into it. People got to learn to trust it. Shanda, I thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining me today and taking time out of your busy schedule. Again, this is Shanda Tompkins. You can look her up. She's in Montana, and you can find her on Facebook. You will also find her on my YouTube channel coming up here in the next couple of weeks, I'm thinking. It's another
Yes.
program I got to figure out how to bring the live in on there. And then you'll meet the Soul Family Chatters, which is just a totally cool group over there. But meanwhile, JackieTomlin.com, 804-731-2302. And of course, we will see you guys again next week. But thank you for joining us today. Shanda, again, thank you. We want to hear a little bit more about Montana haunted history. And I think we could do some things with as far as what to expect out of a psychic reading if you care to join me for another show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, let's do it.
All right, gang. Y'all
Right.
have a fantastic week. See
Bye.
you soon. Bye.